Even if I was in the same room as Scarlett Johansson, I might bite someone's leg off to get that opportunity, dude.
Yeah,
Just be
I
in the
mean that
back.
part's cool.
Just be in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. There's all of a sudden this guy's got hair gel in his hair where there wasn't before.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 59 of the Thought Patrol podcast.
59.
We are back this week, and we have quite a deep topic this week. We're going to be talking about a recent article that happened over in the eastern countries, but we'll get to that. You probably already know if you've seen the video and you saw the title, but we'll be getting to that as our main topic. It is just me and Shawn this week. The
60 time.
Yeah, the duo of Inglorious Bastards, the OG, we have returned, and we're just gonna get right into it. So, Shawn, how's your week been, dude?
I switched to Monday through Friday. Yay! No more weekends until they change it. I found out about another job. I'm going to be looking into that, which should hopefully open up the opportunity to look into school. I've been playing lots of games that we've already discussed and watching shows that we've already talked about. So, yeah, nothing new for me, but hey, I love you.
I love you too, dude. And don't you forget it. You may have times where you're on the edge and you're thinking about ending it all, but just remember that a person that you've never technically met in face-to-face before wants to slob on your knob. And then that should bring you right back from the edge of darkness. And I want you guys all...
gives me the warm scoopies.
Yeah, all you guys even tuning in, you that's the same thing applies to you guys. I want to let you know that if you are on the edge... I can keep, every time I say that, I want to say of glory. But that's not...
On the edge of glory!
That doesn't apply to the situation. But if you're on the edge of darkness, just think, man, this guy named Kyle... He wants to slob on my knob, and that'll bring you right back. It does it for me all the time. Yeah. I know because I know Shawn wants to slob on my knob.
This is true, and if it was glory, there's still knob slobbage to be had. It doesn't. Yeah. I mean, we you can slob knobs when there's sadness. We can slob knobs when there's joy. We're equal opportunity knob slobbing.
I was going to say vendors.
Knob.
Yeah. Yeah, we pass out knob slobbing to anyone that needs a knob to be slobbed. So yeah, I'm glad that you've been.
T-shirt soon to be on Etsy. Thought Patrol knob slobbing.
Yeah. Knob slobbing. Hashtag knob slobbing.
Hashtag.
It should be like a holiday, a national holiday where you find someone that you love and you slob their knob. This also applies to girls.
They got little tiny knobs.
Yeah, Yeah, they have knobs down under. They also have two perky knobs on top. So, hey, everyone has a knob you could find. So, should be fine. Don't worry about it. So, what was I thinking? I was going to say something.
Well, I'm thinking boobs now. So that's where I went with that.
I'm glad.
Stayed on the boobs.
I'm glad that you can join me this week, Shawn. I'm glad all you guys tuning in can join us this week. Sit back, hang out, relax. And just listen to our soothing, maybe not so soothing voices for the next 2 hours or so. My week's been pretty good. Been playing a couple different things. Because we were doing our streams. We do our streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from either 8 or 9 p.m. to 12 or 1 a.m. It depends how the day goes. So it could be kind of random. I've had days where I started an hour early, or days where I started at 9 and ended at 1 in the morning. But we've been playing through a few games. We've been still trying to finish Dying Light. That's been a fun game to play on stream. It also provides, since single player, provides a decent amount of time to kind of hang out, talk with chat and shit like that. I do appreciate all you guys that have dropped by to say hi, even throw some bits our way. I know Frost, Funny Guy, Sam, everyone... you guys have been like huge helps and really making us feel loved over at the Thought Patrol podcast, and it's really made the streaming fun. We've had some fun nights with the streaming, with the bit wars and all the other shit that has been going on, especially We had one night where we played. I kind of want to make it a thing where we play like shitty horror games on Fridays because that sounds like fun. Although we have found a decent amount of good horror games in the process, and I do like the thing. I changed all the alert notifications to like scary screaming, and I've been dropping the clips in the Discord. If we have anything that's like super standout ish, it'll either be clipped by one of the people viewing, or I'll clip it later and I'll drop it in the Discord. So if you want to kind of keep up with us without actually having to watch the streams, you can do that by just joining our Discord. I'm kind of mixing the housekeeping and the intro together. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But yeah, it's been a blast. Doing the scheduled streaming and taking that step to start doing that and providing a day where the community can all just hang out and just play games and chill has been a blast. And we've been having some really fun times with the games that we've been playing. I found a really cool game that I'm super excited. The thing that kind of saddens me is, Shawn, was the game I was telling you about. It's called Mother, Is That You? It was a game made for one of the. I think it was made for one of those like tournament, or not tournament, but like the festival things they have, like indie jam or like horror jam, asylum jam, and where they get like 48 hours, 24 hours, something like that to make a horror game or make a game that fits to the theme of the jam. And I think it was one of those games. And I was checking the author's updates on it, and it's been like a year since they've posted an update. And the last updates that they posted were like their struggle because they couldn't like port over the game. They have issues bug testing it and stuff. And they're having a huge issues trying to get the game because it was made on an older program and the program doesn't really work anymore. And it's hard to develop the game, even though they've upgraded all their equipment and shit. So they've been having their issues. But if you want to check out the demo, it is on itch.io. It's called Mother, Is That You? Or Mitty, M-I-T-Y. And it was a really fun game. I showed Shawn a little bit of it on the VOD, and it's basically you're scaling floors, and there's a bunch of different types of monsters. It's like a top-down perspective, and you're just this like little girl trying to survive. Every monster has something
really good.
Yeah, every monster has something different that they do, and it was just really fun to play, especially on stream. Getting pissed off at the various ghosts, and especially I think what was her name, Amanda. Just this bitch that would throw pots at you and it would one-shot you and kill you and you had to restart. Man, she pissed me off.
I think we should have a streaming day where we do 5 or 6 of those RPG Maker horror games, throw in some classics and some of the new ones, just kind of roll through them and compare and contrast and see what works and what doesn't, just for kicks.
If you want, we could, because I've been thinking of ways to do that where I could like incorporate either you or Caitlyn or someone else into like the stream, even though you guys don't have the equipment to like actually play with me. And I know on Discord there's a feature where you could share your screen while you're in a call. So there'd be a way where we could straight up play a horror game, and then your voice can be there while you're watching it, like 1-for-1, and then the stream's always delayed. So you could still participate in the stream, even though we can't actually play games together, at least in video gaming's current state. And it sucks ass trying to stream on like directly from PS4, so I have to get like an Elgato or something. So I could just stream through my computer, but still play the PS4. So we could play together. There's a different couple ways around it, but for those RPG Horror Maker games, since they're single player already, that would be a method that we can take, where you could be in the call, you could be watching, and then we could just both comment as I play or something along those lines. And so you could still participate in the stream and be able to talk to the stream without necessarily playing the game with me, if you kind of get what I'm saying.
Yeah, that sounds good. Most of them are on computer anyway, so I was thinking the Discord option would probably be easy. Plus, when you do that, there's none of that vocal doubling that happens when I'm trying to talk to you on Discord while you're streaming. And then I've got like you and then an immediate echo of you, and it makes it really fucking difficult to not stab people.
Yeah. So that would be definitely, and I could even have it where you could still hear the game, you'll still get sound. God, I fucking love Discord. They're so, I fucking adore Discord.
Only they made better apps. Their apps are such junk.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to get through, but their desktop version of their program is fantastic. So yeah,
I got it to work once on my potato. I was using it with Tyler when we were playing through fuck was it?
Bloodborne?
Bloodborne, yeah, that was it.
Okay. Yeah. It'd be cool if they could add it. I've talked about it. I don't know if they ever will because both consoles have their own like social networking thing on them already with like the PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live and stuff. So I don't know. I can't see why they'd introduce Discord besides being able to communicate with like the servers that you're in and still talk to those people. But that'd be cool to see that in the future. So you could still talk with us on Discord while being on your PlayStation. What was I thinking? So yeah, I'm definitely down for introducing one of those. Because I don't know what we have for next Friday, but I'd like to make Friday like Spoopy Friday or Spooky Friday or whatever, and we just play like either shitty or decent horror games on stream. I changed the alerts around to be scary so people can scare while we're playing and shit like that. I don't know if you'd hear those. I'd hear them though.
Yeah, well, I saw your reaction when you did the little girl covering her mouth thing. That was pretty fucking spectacular.
Yeah, fucking Abyssal Procs. If you're out there listening, dude, you scared the shit out of me with that notification. It's funny because it doesn't even sound that loud on the stream, but I was blasting the game in my headphones, so that shit like practically shattered my eardrums. It scared the fuck out of me, and the noise itself is just so like it like just freaks you out because it's just like a dude screaming, and it's like really like shitty audio quality, so it feels almost like it has like this sense of realism. Oh man, it's fucking weird, like blood curdling kind of thing. So that definitely freaked me out. Again, if you'd like to see me respond to a scream like a little girl, you can do that through our Discord. We have the clip over there, or you can check out our Twitch, twitch.tv/ThoughtPatrol, one word, and you can see all the clips there that people have clipped. I have other jump scares on there. We have just funny things that happen, people messing around with the text to speech in the on the stream and stuff like that. Now that we are affiliates with Twitch, so we'd love to see you guys there. If you're tuning in, you think that'd be like a fun time to come hang out with the community. You haven't done so yet. We'd love to see you guys there, and you'd make us happy just by being there saying hi. Because I mean, not to complain, but like I mean, we do get decent views, and the turnover rate for just in anything you do online, a lot of the people they kind of just lurk, and that's completely fine. And the turnover for like getting actual interaction from your crowd that you attract is not very high. So, or it is very, I don't know how to apply that to the sentence, but whatever. You don't hear from people very often, and that's the kind of only thing we really want to do. We just want to kind of see what kind of people that want to hang out with us and stuff like that. And I said that a billion times before, so that's that. So we've been playing scary games, getting through Dying Light. Love that game. Probably one of my favorite zombie games I've ever played. Not including like, I don't really consider Resident Evil zombies. I know they're kind of it, but they're more of like demons or a virus. I know they're actually a virus, but they kind of they act more like super, but like just straight up like dumb zombies kind of thing that are like cannon fodder. It's probably one of my favorite ones. It's really fun. Just such a fun game. The parkour in it and the climbing and all that is perfectly done. It's all first person. You just feel like a badass while you're playing, and I've been having a blast playing it. Although it doesn't really like OBS that much. It likes to drop frames, and I have no idea why that happens. So, technical bullshit aside. Been playing WoW with the group that we have on PC. Trying to level, get ready for Battle for Azeroth when that comes out. I just finished today because the way they do the raids, Shawn, is it's not like you sit down and do the entire raid at once. They're broken up into like 4 pieces, and then each piece is not exactly like a thing that will take you half an hour to an hour. It might take you 15 minutes, and then you re-queue for the next part, and then you queue for, and there's like 4 parts to a raid. Usually the structures, the first 3 parts all have 3 bosses, and then the final part has 1 really big boss that takes a long time. To get through. So yeah, I did the Tomb of Sargeras, which is the first Legion raid that they released, I think. It was like the first big Legion raid, because I know they have 3 raids before it that were in the areas leading up to like actual Legion stuff, and not like the Nightfallen or the Curing Tour or anything like that. And it was fun. I enjoyed it. They had some cool mechanics in it. Like they had one boss where there's a fire in the room that you can interact with. And what happens is you have a group of 30 people, and you have to, well, they have like the dude that was there has already done it. So he just told who to go where. So like a portion of your team resides within a spirit form. So they're like, you're basically in the same room, but there's two fights going on. And you have one group of people fighting in the spirit form and one group of people fighting in the actual like realm, and they exist side by side. So you'll have so it's pretty interesting. So someone's dying on the other side and I'm a healer, I can't do jack shit to help them. Just the healers on that side have to step it up to make sure that they don't die. And I just have to focus on my side. So it kind of it splits them, and it makes it harder for you to like, because like as a healer you're like Overwatch, so if someone's about to die, it's your job to make sure that person doesn't fucking die, so you're more reliant on the other healers because there's 5 in a 30-man dungeon or raid. You have to make sure that those other healers are doing their thing. So it's, you kind of have to be a little more trustworthy of the people you're with, and it's not that easy with LFR because some of those people are fucking stupid, like dead ass. I've never seen so many dumb, and it's always the DPS player. Nothing against if you guys play WoW, nothing against you DPS players out there, and I'm eventually going to be in those boots because once I get Void Elves, I'll be making a DPS. But they just love to stand in AoE. I don't know what about it, but these dumbasses are always like, there's this big ass thing that pops up on the ground knowing like, hey, this area is about to get fucking nuked. Please move. Like, it's like maybe 10 feet this direction. Just walk over there. And nope, they stand it, lose like 80% of their health, and here I am, my butthole tightens, can almost make diamonds because I see one of the panels drop to like red, and I'm like, fuck, and I got to get them back up to full. So PSA, if you DPS and you do LFR, just kind of, I know it sometimes is hard. You got another 10 dudes standing around you all smacking this gigantic monster. Every once in a while, take a look at the floor. Make sure you're not standing on a void of like a circle of bubbling doom that's about to destroy you. And your healers would appreciate you. So that's my PSA for all you fucking WoW players out there. This shit's annoying. So besides that, I've been having fun. Just trying to level up my character a bit, although it doesn't really matter because the moment Battle for Azeroth comes out, all that gear is going to be practically useless. So a lot of it's, I want to go back. They changed the way the looting goes for older raids because you can do them like by yourself. If they're old enough, all the enemies are still super weak. They don't like scale them. Unless it's like a mythic. I think sometimes they bring mythic raids back and they scale them up so you can do them, but at like a harder difficulty. I think, I'm not entirely sure. But I've done like the burning. It's not the burning throne. It's like Blackthorn Cave or something like that. And I just literally walked through the entire raid and spammed my AoE and was one-shotting everything in the vicinity. But they changed it where before, if you did it by yourself, the chances of you getting stuff was if you were with 40 other people, but like it would be, so imagine if you were with 30 other people, a boss would only drop like three to 6 items of that transmog set to like, of that armor set to look cool and stuff like that. Imagine if it rolled for those 29 other people, but they didn't exist. So your chances were as low as normal. But now if you do it by yourself, it will roll as if there are 40 other people, but all those rolls would go to you. So you can easily get those transmog sets faster now. Because you can only, even the old raids, you can only do them once a week. The bosses will not respawn. So I was trying to get a set for that raid, and I did it once. I got 1 piece of armor. I did it again. I got 1 piece of armor. I'm like, this is going to take fucking forever. But now they've changed it so they make it a lot easier to get older transmogs. And those transmogs don't even look that good. It's like literally someone has painted on your clothes the way it warps to your character's body because it's all older armor. It doesn't look as nice as the newer shit. So it's literally like someone dipped you in paint when you wear those clothes. So, but it's nice that they changed it. So that's that. Getting excited for Battle for Azeroth, I guess. This is like my first time playing WoW, so I have no idea the implications of the story or whatever the fuck's going on. But I like MMOs a lot. So once I kind of get like a heavy taste of Battle for Azeroth, I'll be moving back to Final Fantasy. And hopefully around that time, they'll be releasing their like big-ass patch they've been talking about. So that'd be cool that I have a bunch of new content to move into for there. I still got to get through Heavensward. and get into that cool like Japanese looking area that they got like that's near the end game. So that's that for the most part. I haven't really been playing anything else. I know Lark, who's part of our community, is also part of the It's Obvious Gaming community, which is a podcast I listen to. Awesome bunch of dudes. If you haven't heard them before, go check them out. He gifted me a game because he didn't accidentally, but he bought a pack of 2 and he just had it in his library the entire time. He gifted me Metal Slug X. So I think that'd be a cool game to play on stream maybe one day too. Maybe get Caitlyn in here and play that. We could play that together because I don't think she's ever played a Metal Slug game before, and those games are fun. So yeah.
Geo.
Yeah, so that's about it. Been I do have a job, I think. The way it sounds, because it was going through a family member, a cousin-in-law. He's a fucking like a district manager for this company called You Break I Fix, which is like they're like a tech company. You could bring in like a broken laptop or something, and then you tell them what's wrong with it. They'll fix it. They'll charge you, and they'll give it back to you, and stuff like that. And he's gotten me. He was talking to one person, and their store was kind of a mess. So he said he'll call you. He'll try and set up something so you could come in and learn a bit, try it out. And he just never did. Like 2-3 weeks passed, never did call me. I'm like, okay. So I talked to him again because he was down, because he was checking out his district is down in South Florida. So he was checking out, and he talked to a different store, a different store's owner. And he's like, tell your cousin-in-law to come down here Monday, and I'll have him working. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's what he told me. So it's like down in West End. It's about like 25 minutes away from me. So I'm gonna go there tomorrow. They open at like 10, and show up. Hey, I know this man, district manager. He said that you can get me a job, and that'd be cool because that's something along the lines of what I'm studying for in school now. Because I dropped biomedical engineering, so I'm now doing computer science. So being a technician in something along those lines, that field, because technically computer science can also go into IT as well. It'd be actually doing something that I'm studying for, and I could get a taste of what my future might hold if I do go that route. So that's pretty cool. And I also think, I don't know how much money they make. I don't know anything. I don't even know if I'll do anything tomorrow. I'm going to show up and say I'm here, and I'll be flexible and ready to go. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But that's exciting stuff, because I've been out of a job for 2 weeks since I voluntarily left my position at Publix. So, but everything's been going good. Life's good. Can't really complain. And I'm excited to get into this fucking podcast, dude. What about you, Shawn?
I am thrilled. I have a boner for this podcast right now.
Damn straight, dude.
And I'm touching it.
Nice. That makes me uncomfortable, but in a good way. So
that's the only kind of uncomfortable. What are you talking about?
Since I already talked about a few things in the housekeeping segment, we'll go through it real quick. Again, Twitch streams. If you want to hang out with us live and communicate with at least me, your boy Kyle, and hopefully Shawn on a Friday episode, we could get some RPG Maker horror games going. You can do that. Twitch.tv/ThoughtPatrol, one word. Be there or be square and say hi, please. No lurking. Please.
Be there or be square, because, that was trendy when our grandparents invented it.
Exactly, dude. I'm bringing it back.
Yeah, bring that shit back. Bring it back. Bring sexy back, too.
I did already. I don't think you know.
Sweet.
Back in 2008.
Oh, I know.
I dropped my pen.
Oh, I know.
I dropped my pen. God damn it. All right. Also, we have a Discord.
Why is it every time you're trying to seduce me, you say you've dropped something, and then you're screaming about me stopping, and then I just... No, wait, we shouldn't be talking about this.
The behind the scenes. If only you guys knew
literally behind the scenes.
If only you guys knew how many edits we had to make on this fucking podcast sometimes. We have a Discord as well. If you want to hang out with us, join our server. We got a bunch of things over there. You could send us mailbag questions. You can talk about gaming, anime, movies, music, pets.
Titties.
There is no nude section yet, but if I get enough,
but there will be.
If I get enough people want one, we'll make one. That you can make an NSFW tab So
hell yeah, titties and dicks all day long. That's what it's gonna be. Titties.
probably more dicks than titties, but
Well, we can find some. There's titties around. They're just laying around. We'll find some.
I'll squish
Pick up some titties. Put them on there.
I'll squish mine together. That should work.
There we go. See, titties.
Yeah, you gotta be. God, dude, I can't think of the fucking words. What I'm trying to say tonight is fucking awful.
Words are hard.
Yeah, they are. All right. Also, when we get into our main topic, if we say something you either disagree with or agree with, and you want to let us know what you think, feel free to drop a comment below on the YouTube video or on the podcast service you use. Some of them do use comments. We would love to hear from you guys. Speaking of YouTube, that is no longer not technically our home base anymore, but for the podcast it is. I need to do something. I do put Let's Plays there every once in a while, but we stopped playing those games on stream, and I just don't have time to play them off stream, and it's a fucking mess. But you can go over there, check out our podcast, help us out, and you can leave a subscription there. Also, if you're tuning in, you're on Spotify, you've never heard of us before, you're like, what are these dumbasses talking about? But you want to hear more of what these dumbasses are talking about. We do release an episode every Tuesday.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, we do release an episode every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Feel free to subscribe. Get us every week in your ears, where we can make audio
sweet love
to you. Yeah, dude.
Sweet audio love.
Indeed. We have a Twitter as well. If you want to get announcements from us, if we decide to do a community game night or something along those lines. Speaking of community game night, I completely forgot. We're going to be doing one Wednesday over at twitch.tv/ThoughtPatrol. We'll be playing some Fortnite, some Fart Dick. If you want to play some Fart Dick with us, it will be happening Wednesday. We'll also be it'll be a drunk stream. Every time we lose, I will be taking a shot. So
wait, when is this?
Wednesday night.
Oh, okay. I'll be paid before then. I can get booze.
So we will be doing a Fortnite stream. If you want to play some games, try and purposely kill yourself to get me to take more shots or whatever the fuck, or just participate in the drinking game every time we lose, you take a shot. Feel free to stop by over there. It'll probably be starting at 9 p.m., ending at 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. And it's going to be fun. If you want to get some games in with us too, that'd be also a way of doing that. Finally, if you want to leave an iTunes review, help us out that way. Spread our podcast throughout the world like a beautiful cancer. You can do that over on iTunes reviews. Leave us whatever you think we deserve.
Come on, man. All right, there are people dying everywhere of cancer. Let's say like beautiful herpes. All right, it's got a better sense to it.
I guess. Cancer is not really contagious either. What's a really bad disease that's contagious?
AIDS. We could say AIDS.
Okay, like a beautiful AIDS.
Like a beautiful AIDS.
Indeed. Yeah. Give us what you think we deserve. 1 to a 5. Just be, courteous or truthful about it, I guess. And we'd like to hear what you guys have to say.
I think with our attitudes and irreverent humor, asking somebody to be courteous is a bit much.
Yeah, I guess. So,
yeah,
you never know. So there's always a diamond in the shit stack. So
yeah, well, we got Sam. Sam's typically super courteous, a little overly verbose.
We love you, Sam, dude. Speaking of overly verbose Sam, we got a fucking mailbag question, dude. Look at that perfect ass segue. Looking at that perfect ass segue, dude. All right, we're gonna move into it.
Perfect segue.
That's pretty good. I like it. So Sam has written us another question, continuing his expansive lore and narrative of the olden times of the Thought Patrol podcast. He has come back to grace us with part 2 of his epic tale of what was their names? Bo, the Tiefling, Seamus, the dwarf, and Kay, she was a cleric, but what type of cleric? I forgot. Fuck, do you remember? I don't remember.
Blonde.
That's not what I wanted to know, but fuck it. She's a cleric. I think she was elven. I think she's an elven cleric. I think that's what it was.
Well, that explains the blonde.
Yeah, dude. Got pointy ears and shit. All right.
Pointy ears and shit. Elves are my favorite. I'm sorry. I'm not knocking on elves. I normally get picked on for my elf love.
If you've not guessed already, Caitlyn is not here. So I will be assuming the role of Kay, the wizard, in the Hollywood girl accent that she had applied to Kay last week. But I'm going to do it better. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to do it better.
Offense intended to all Hollywood girls, just so you know.
Indeed. Shawn is narrator, as well as Seamus the dwarf. I think his original name was your name backwards for the dwarf, but he changed it. Thank God. I thought it was still kind of funny though.
Nas.
Something like that.
Noir. No, fuck that. I don't remember. I did the
narrator was an 80s action narrator, and Seamus was your typical dwarven accent kind of thing.
Like 80s. I mean, we're talking like Voltron. No, that was actually Peter Cullen. I can't knock Voltron, but pretty much during the episode of like every cartoon. Anime, Saturday morning cartoon, anything that came from Japan that was built up by what's his nuts? I can't fucking remember his name right now, but Carl Masick. Everything he brought over had the same shitbag narrator. It was so bad. It's like last week on Badass Anime Show. So garbage. Anyway, the gray-skinned dragonborn looked at Bojangles and company with a sincere and melancholy face, having just asked them a question in exchange for aid in their quest. Collectively, the group of adventurers gave the old wizard a sufficient answer, and having done so, the wizard stretched out his claw hand and said...
I know it was like an old man kind of thing. I'm trying to
it was kind of like an old pedo man, like, hey, little boy, want some candy?
Here, take this. It's a dangerous journey you have ahead of you all. Use this aid wisely. For if it is abuse, it could mean dire consequences, not just for you, but for many.
In his hand was rolled up scroll bound with a leather ribbon sealed with an insignia that caught Seamus's eye. Wait, am I doing Seamus again too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did him like a dumb blonde, right?
No. He was a dwarf.
I didn't do him all dwarvish.
Yeah, he was a typical dwarf.
That's why I completely did something different, because he's a dwarf. I swear I did like a dumb blonde thing.
No, it was like an Irish. It was like an Irish accent almost. It's exactly what you did.
Okay. Oh, that be the seal of the Black Dragon.
That's exactly what it is.
The most notorious ground of necromancers ever did live. This is bad, real bad, boyo. You need to drop this endeavor now.
And I'm Batman, I think. Never. We can't give up now. I need to do this for my grandfather. Papa. I need a grandfather name.
You are the knight.
Papa Jangles. For Papa Jangles. I don't know about this. Necromancers, from what I heard, are not to be messed around with. Plus, they are so poor. Well, most of them. Even if we catch this guy, he's not going to be worth a lot to us.
As the group squabbled on, the Dragonborn motioned with his staff and a blue light vanished from sight. In a blue light, whatever. Well, there goes the old coot. Probably going to be all cooped up in a tower somewhere fiddling with books or other nonsense. Listen, boy, if we do this is going to cost more than you offered us.
Whatever it takes, I have to do this.
Bo opened up the sealed scroll and began reading its contents. The scroll had but one line of scribbled words hastily written. If dark desires are what you crave, then you must answer a question from another realm. Far, far into the booty hole.
Yes.
If you succeed, then the way to our domain will be revealed to you. But if you should fail, then your life is forfeit! There's an exclamation mark, guys. Exclamation mark. Boy!
I was
waiting. Better give this thing some thought. It's sleep for death.
Oh,
do I really want to chance it with this?
If it means redemption for my grandfather, Papa Jangles, then yes, it's worth it.
With a trembling voice, Bo began reading the question.
Comic-Con is underway, which can only mean 3 things. New movie and TV announcements, new merchandise from all the big entertainment companies, and of course, that cosplay. What are you looking forward to hearing or seeing from Comic-Con 2018?
You forgot, Sam. There's also the whole SJWs exploding over tiny things that people say that are usually innocuous and harmless. So that's its own thing.
Also, well, this didn't happen at... Wait, did it happen at Comic-Con? But didn't also, like, fucking... Who's the dude that plays Luke Skywalker? I always forget his name.
Mark Hamill?
Didn't he also, like, spoil the fact that Luke Skywalker is going to die in the next movie or some shit? I saw a clip.
I don't remember.
I saw a clip of him saying that. Give him what they want. Luke Skywalker is dying or something like that. Something along those lines. And I'm like, did he just fucking do that?
Well, he pretty much came out and said that he wasn't a big fan of the new movie and he wasn't a big fan of the direction they took and shit like that. But it was a paycheck and it was another chance to connect with his fans. So he was like, fuck it, whatever. Which is one of the reasons why we love Mark Hamill. Number 1, he's the Joker. Number 2, he's Luke Skywalker. Number 3, fuck it.
Yeah, can't think of a third. All right. So our question here.
No, 3 is his all fuck it attitude. That is the third thing. Why do we have these conversations?
What are you looking forward to hearing or seeing from Comic-Con 2018? It's been going on for a bit.
Cosplay.
I love cosplay. I love seeing people work hard to like imitate something else. Especially the ladies that pick characters that are scantily clad. I think they try super hard and achieve their goals. And power to all women and their boobles.
I think I want to, next time I go to MegaCon, I want to get a squad together of cosplayers with foam baseball bats, and our goal is to run around and beat the shit out of people who try and shame cosplayers, which are entirely the SJW crowd. Just like smack them in the face. I would like to do that. I'm willing to get kicked out a day or two doing that. I'm good with that.
Smack them with wiffle ball bats.
Yeah, like as soon as somebody pops up bad attitude, just bam, broken nose.
I can tell you what I'm not looking forward to seeing more of is anything to do with the new Teen Titans live action. That can go fuck off and die. I don't give DC. I mean, I'm not a fan of comics in general, really. It was cool. I got to see they had the same gameplay demo they had at E3 at Comic-Con. So there's more Spider-Man, which is always cool, I guess, even though it's the same Spider-Man that we know. But I can't think of something in particular. I know Godzilla dropped a new trailer, which was fucking badass because it showed off the other Titans. It showed off fucking the Moth one. God damn, I just read something about it and I completely forgot, dude. I suck ass. Wait. Mothra was one of them. Wait. Godzilla
Hydra?
2 Monsters confirmed. Here we go. Directors, even more monsters. And this was at Comic-Con. And also they have the girl from the main girl that played 11 in Stranger Things in the movie too.
Oh, maybe she'll be in it for 5 minutes because everyone will go to see it and then they'll kill her too.
Okay, so we have Godzilla, obviously, Mothra, Rodan, Ghidorah will be some of the other Titans. There'll also be many other Titans hidden all over the world, and their total power combined will be needed to defeat the threat that is tearing Earth apart. It sounds something straight out of an anime.
Mothra is a good guy.
Yeah, I want to see that turtle with the turtle with the jet boosters that come out its ass. Give me more of that.
Turtle was a good guy too, if I remember correctly. And at various times, I think. What were the other ones? Ghidorah and what?
Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra, and Godzilla are the 4 that they showed, but they also said there'd be more.
Rodan's always a bad guy, if I remember correctly.
He's Monster Zero, who's actually... Oh, wait. Let me actually read the rest of this article. The possibility of multiple Titans have been... this article is on Screen Rant. It is by Dan Zinski. So we're not stealing anything. The possibility of multiple Titans have been teased by the mysterious King of the Monsters tie-in website called monarchsciences.com, which on its homepage invites visitors to help Monarch discover Titans and defend the world by clicking Explore. Website visitors go to the map of the Earth and buttons over certain locations around the globe. 3 of these buttons glow red when clicking them, and the visitors receive information about Rodan, Mothra, and Monster Zero, who is actually King Ghidorah. but there are also 17 other buttons scattered around Earth that the site hints could be the locations of more Titans. Clicking on these buttons is nothing as of now, but as the coming weeks, we could almost be for certain that we'll see more clues for giving fans something to look forward to. That sentence was not actually written that way. My mind just completely fucked it up when I tried to save it. I guess it kind of worked. So that is definitely fucking exciting, you Godzilla fans out there. I heard the first movie didn't do well in the box office, but it was kind of like later, it was like critically acclaimed, I guess. I heard a lot of people liked it.
It made money.
Did it make money? Okay.
Yeah, it made money. It did well.
Is there something else I'm thinking about, maybe? I'm not too sure. So that's pretty fucking cool. Some of the things we've seen from... But what is something I want to see from Comic-Con? I need to think. Is there anything that you want to see from Comic-Con, Shawn? Even if it's like in the farthest realms of impossibility, something you'd like to see come out of DC, or something that would drop at Comic-Con that revolves anything around comic books that you would love to see happen. A live-action movie of a certain character. I'd like to hear about
DC stopping with the movies. I'd like to hear about that. Like how they completely fuck their characters in the ass and all of their fans. I don't know who is working hardest to attack their fans, DC or Disney with Star Wars. But no, man, I've never, to be honest, like I love Comic-Con for the culture and for the panels, but I've never given a shit about I mean, like there's movies that I'm super excited about. Like I keep an eye out for the Tucker and Dale sequel. Hopefully that'll come around one day. I keep an eye out for things, but like the whole like sneak peek at a trailer, or you know, the cast of a movie got together and we got to ask them questions. Like that stuff never made a damn to me. Like I was more interested in the attendees and the booths and actual, you know, news announcements and bits of information that come out. Like I don't give a shit if they got Scarlett Johansson to sit and talk for half an hour about fucking Black Widow. That's never been a concern. So like the thing that a lot of people get excited over are the world's first exposure to trailers and so on, and that kind of shit just really doesn't matter to me.
Even if I was in the same room as Scarlett Johansson, I might bite someone's leg off to get that opportunity, dude.
Yeah, I mean that part's cool.
Just be in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. There's all of a sudden this guy's got hair gel in his hair where there wasn't before. No, I'm way more interested in the booths and the merch and like the news of like new seasons that are coming out, or I mean like legit news stuff. I'm interested because I'm a pop culture freak, but I don't really care about, you know, them getting the cast of the garbage Star Wars series together or any of that kind of stuff. And that's what most people get excited over. So I'm going to go with my first choice, which is cosplayers. Because that's the real reason why Comic-Con shit like that exists in the first place, is the fans. And that's my favorite part about conventions is, you know, rubbing elbows with a whole bunch of other fucking sweaty fans.
Yeah, dude. The room smells like shit.
Part.
Yeah, dude.
You run into so many very cool people.
Get a whiff of that must, that stank that proceeds when you fit a bunch of people into a small room that has not enough air conditioning for that many people. Yeah, dude.
I'll tell you what, man. The only thing that makes it fucking hot is the shit you're wearing half the time. Because when I was at, I've only been to Comic-Con once, and it was freezing in there. But what made it fucking hot was the costumes you're wearing, and then like, well, the one point you brought up when you got 11 people standing in the same space.
Yeah.
You start to fucking get some pit action going on, but and you're not putting your arms out because you don't want to spread the love, so to speak. So everyone's scrapping the juices, it makes them even riper. But I'd rather be around a bunch of like awesome sweaty geeks than anyone else anyway.
Yeah,
and it still smells better than a locker room.
Yeah.
So
the only convention I've ever been to was Animate, which is a smaller one that we did. It was like in Miami. And it was just anime, and they had a really big like venue for it, and there wasn't a lot. It wasn't packed whatsoever. It wasn't packed, but that was really fun because we got to see people dressed up. Like they had this one dude that like he didn't buy anything. His goal, he dressed up as the dude from Spirited Away, dude that like I was asking for gold, and he just perused the floors. We even saw him going up one of the fucking escalators at one point, and just like reaching his hands out asking people for gold. And it was so cool just to see like this looming figure. He had to be like 10 feet tall with his like entire costume on. He looked so fucking cool, and just kind of walking around, obviously buying shit. Antony bought the Buster sword that Cloud has, like made out of like actual iron. I'm pretty sure it was hollow inside because it wasn't that heavy, but still it looked real, and you could actually hold it without fucking busting out a socket in your shoulder or something. So yeah, again, I'm not too huge into comics, so something I'd want to see. I'm always a fan of cosplay. I like that Comic-Con, since video games have delved into comic books, you see more video games at Comic-Con now too. And like they had, like, I was talking to someone that is actively there, or was actively there over the weekend that just passed, and he went to a thing where they showed off like early looks at like God of War, and they had a developer panel, and they were talking about it. And that's something that I like. I like to see the development of games from where they started to getting where they are, like at a final product. I love seeing that. And I think that would have been something really cool to see and be there and be present for, especially hearing from Cory Barlog himself. That'd be pretty awesome, because that game is fantastic. And just seeing like his like vision and realization come to life and how it started and stuff like that, that'd be really cool. I'm thinking of something that could be announced that I'd like to see. Fuck. What's my favorite superhero? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm thinking. I suck at this, and I'm not too big into comic books. I'd like to see more of that other Spider-Man movie that's coming out, like the Spider-Verse movie that has all the different Spider-Mans in it. I'd like maybe another trailer of that would have been cool to see a little bit more of that.
They released the second one already.
I saw the second one because it had Spider-Gwen in it, right at the end. She was like white.
That was the. They have another one then. There's another one besides Spider-Gwen.
Well,
Spider-Gwen was the second one. The third one. There's a third one out.
Oh shit! I gotta get on that. So yeah, that's that. What about you guys tuning in? What is something that you've been excited for that you've seen already be announced, or that you were still hoping to be announced? I don't know if Comic-Con's over. I have no idea how it works. I suck with this. But we appreciate the question as always, Sam, including the narrative. Keep up the good work. Faithful son. We appreciate hearing from you every week. So we don't have a game segment. I know. Don't crucify me. We're gonna move into our box office tops. If I whisper it, people won't realize what I'm talking about. So we had a couple movies come out this week, Shawn. Which one do you think is number one?
Yes. Ant-Man's in number 3, and I have no idea what came out because I have been preoccupied with work stuff, so I am useless to you. Please continue.
Okay.
I know, right? The guy who's like, if you cut his wrist, he bleeds fucking pop culture references, and I have no fucking idea what came out this month.
You don't even have like a guess?
Nothing. I got nothing at all. I don't know anything that's out. I only know what's come out in the last few weeks. I have no fucking idea.
You took the only worth that you had to this podcast and threw it in the garbage.
I did. I threw it in the garbage, and I took a big stinky poo on it.
And you stomped that poo into. All right, number one. For the weekend of July 20 to the 20th to the 22nd, we have The Equalizer 2 coming in first, pulling $35 million.
That looked good.
Yeah, I thought the first one was actually very good. I think Denzel Washington's a really good actor, too. I'm
a big fan of Chloe Grace Moretz, so that was the only reason why I wanted to see the first one.
It pulled $35 million for the weekend, domestically. All these numbers are domestic. We'll do for the top 5. We'll do worldwide too. Okay. Fuck. So, worldwide, Equalizer 2 has pulled 39 million. 39 million. So it's only pulled about 3 million foreign. I don't even know how well the first one did worldwide. Sitting at a budget of 62 million. So it's halfway through its budget in its first week. Pretty good. At number 2, we have Mamma Mia. Here we go again, pulling $34 million for the weekend, with an additional $42 million foreign, sitting at $76 million in total worldwide gross, with a budget of $75 million. So that's doing pretty well. At number 3, we have Hotel Transylvania 3: Summer Vacation, pulling a total or a domestic gross of $91 million and a foreign gross of $115 million. Sitting at a worldwide gross of $206 million. With a budget of $80 million, it's definitely doing well, and it is still only in its second week. At number 4, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, pulling $16 million this weekend, sitting at a total gross of $353 million worldwide. With a budget of, Disney doesn't want to tell us, sitting at week number 3. I don't know why sometimes these movies, they just don't have a budget on this site. At number 5, finally, last but not least, we have Incredibles 2, fantastic film, pulling $11 million for the weekend, sitting at a total gross domestically of $557 million and a worldwide gross of $940 million, almost $1 billion. Sitting in its 6th week. So might see it pass $1 billion. Really good. I don't know how well. I wonder how well the first Incredibles did. Let's check, actually. Incredibles. The first Incredibles made a lifetime worldwide gross of only $633 million. So. Oh, man. The production budget was $92 million for the first movie. That's crazy. All right. So that was your top 5. Some new movies that popped up that did not get in the top 5. We have Unfriended, Dark Web, which the first one was kind of doo-doo, so I could see why it did not make a lot of money. It pulled $3 million, sitting in 9th place, with a budget of only $1 million, because the entire thing was probably recorded with OBS. Sitting in week 1, because it's like, you know what, did you hear about the first Unfriended, Shawn?
I heard that it was a giant stanky piece of shit.
Yeah, it was like set up and it was like on Skype, and the entire thing like played out on one screen kind of thing.
The shooting style I don't mind.
Are you playing Final Fantasy?
I am not, no.
What are you playing? Because I hear it.
Huh?
I hear fantasy music in your background, boy. Sneaking in that playtime.
No, there was one that's got John Cho in it where he's looking for his daughter. His daughter vanishes, and the whole thing's done through a computer. It's him on chat with various people. That looks interesting. And they did a movie that was shot, I think it was on an iPhone, and it was a woman who is either crazy or has been made to think she's crazy.
Oh, I think I watched someone talk about that movie on YouTube, and I forget what it was called. Shit, I'm gonna Google it. So it's eating away at me. Movie shot on iPhone. It was an iPhone X, wasn't it? Unsane. That's what it was called.
Yeah, that's it. I think it was a Soderbergh movie.
Was it? I don't know. Let's look. Unsane, starring Claire Foy. Follows a woman who's convinced she has a stalker, but later comes to question her own sanity. It was shot on an iPhone 7 Plus. It is a Soderbergh movie.
Yeah, I thought so. I don't normally like Soderbergh because most of his shit is like cautionary tales. Like, it's fiction, but it's very closely linked in reality. Like, it's Contagion, that movie. And I'm really not into Soderbergh going, hey, look how broken your reality is. People are shitty. But that Unsane actually looked like a pretty interesting, like, horror thriller. So that I kind of was curious about. But no, I don't know about your dinky social media fucking
Unfriended
film. And all those look like trash.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. And the second one talks about the dark web, which is also a dumb idea. But I guess it's technically made its budget. It's only cost $1 million to make, and it's made $3.5 million. Another new movies that have come out is something called Blind Spotting, pulled $332,000. And none of these, I don't know what any of these other movies are. So So that's that. Box office tops. Equalizer 2 coming in first. Go see it. Take your friends, take your family. Or don't. Because movies are actually quite expensive, so don't listen to an internet stranger. Also, moving forward, we got our What to Look For segment. We got some bangers coming out this week, Shawn. Mega Man X Collection 1 and 2 is coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on July 24th.
Hell yeah.
And man, is my penis hard right now.
You want to know the shitty part? Here's the shitty part, folks. The entire Mega Man collection up to 8, I think it was, and the entire Mega Man X collection, including the role-playing game, were already released on one disc apiece for $40 back during the days of PlayStation 2. But now they're splitting them up between two different sets and selling them for $30 because fuck you, Capcom. And just so you know, that I am a hypocrite. I will be purchasing the fuck out of those, and they better have that shitty role-playing game on there.
Definitely. Also, No Man's Sky is coming to Xbox One, July 24th, just in time for their next update coming out soon, which is going to introduce multiplayer and a few other things. I think we'll be talking... Actually, I don't have an article for that. I'll mention it. They're revamping No Man's Sky. Should you care? Not really. It's still technically the same game, except now there's finally multiplayer in it. It only took a year. But hey, it's out.
It took a lot longer than a year.
Oh, 2 years. It's 2 years. It was 2016 it came out. It was August of 2016 it came out. So 2 years. The Banner Saga 3 coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
They made a second one?
And Mac, July 24th. Apparently so. So, that's that. Not too much, but as we're moving into August, we'll have some cool things coming out. I know that Yakuza 0 is coming to PC October 1st because I have pre-ordered it because it's only cost $15. So, hey, your boy gonna be playing the shit out of that game when it comes out August 1st. It's just some exciting stuff. And we got some more things coming out in August, but we'll get there as we get there. So we actually have a decent amount of news articles this week of the going-ons in video gaming over the last week. So first, we have Stardew Valley multiplayer is coming to PC in August. We know that it was in beta a while ago, but they are finally releasing it to the main build of the game. This is by Aiden Strahan of GameSpot, saying the highly anticipated multiplayer update for Stardew Valley has been in beta for some time now, but it's about to make its debut on PC sooner than you might think. Rebuild your grandfather's farm with a little help from your friends starting August 1st. Stardew's multiplayer is all about working together. You and up to 3 other players can create the farm of your dreams or duke it out with some monsters. Just make sure that when your friends come to visit, they have a cabin to call home. Aside from taking on the chores of the valley with the extra set of hands, multiplayer has quite a lot to offer. There'll be a new chat box and emojis to keep everyone on the same page, as well as marriage and divorce. Of course, you can still choose to woo one of the strapping young lads or ladies from Pelican Town, but you can also craft a ring for that special someone online. If things go sour, there is a way out, though. All you have to do is divorce or ban a player from your farm to destroy their cabin, just like they destroyed your heart. Got a friend who's a little wetter behind the ears? Not to worry. Another feature is scalable difficulty. You could do this by adjusting scale profit margin or produce sold. This will scale the difficulty of your farm to be a little bit easier or difficult based on the experience of you and your friends. With the PC update comes a load of deals you may not want to miss out on, especially if your friends don't have a copy of their own. Starting today for 24... This is old, so it doesn't matter. But yes, exciting stuff. I fucking love sim games. And this definitely sounds exciting. I already own Stardew Valley, but knowing that the multiplayer update is coming August 1st, definitely a fun game to play with friends because there is quite a lot to do on your farm every day. And making more out of each day, especially being able to marry one of your friends, all pretty cool stuff. Reminds me of the days where me and my friends played Fable 3, and I was the only fan of the group, and I was the slut bag that everyone passed around. So... that was quite the times back on the 360. I remember me and Tyler had a kid, but for some reason it was black, so we named it Dark Chocolate. Quite the tale. But yeah, Stardew Valley. Get your friends to grow some crops with you, dude. Be quite a blast. Moving forward, we have a new Battle Royale game was removed from sale.
Oh, good.
After a week, as dev offers a surprisingly frank apology. Now, to give a little bit of context to this, the original, this is talking about The Calling 2. Now, if you don't follow Battle Royale or you don't know about the shit show that Battle Royale has been from initial release to today and blah, 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 The Calling was one of like the early adopters of the Battle Royale as just a game, not like a mode, but straight up just Battle Royale. The Calling was like that. It was actually a decent game, but they stopped supporting it practically because they all went to work on The Calling 2. And that's what this article is talking about. Now, The Calling 2 failed miserably. Within the first, I think, 48 hours, they had a peak players of like 100 and something, and it dropped to like 0 within 48 hours, either 24 or 48 hours. That's how horribly that game.
What the hell did they do? I mean, was it just buggy, broken? Like, what did they do to make it that awful?
We shall talk about it. Let's get into the article, though. So this is Steve Watts of GameSpot. The Calling 2 launched recently, but it went so poorly that the studio is issuing an mea culpa. I don't know what the fuck that means. And mea culpa. And reversing course entirely. In a statement from the Zaviant director of operations, Josh Van Velde, he acknowledged that the sequel was not up to snuff and promised to do better. Quote, the launch was not successful, he said in the video. Oh, oops. Quote, The Calling 2 is not a game that you asked for, and it's not the game that you expect as a worthy successor to The Calling. As a result, he said Zaviant is in touch with the various storefronts to pull the game and issue refunds. Going forward, Zaviant will be going back to the original Calling. That's not just relying on the older game, Van Velde said the studio, quote, changed too much too fast in the first game, and in the process disrupted what fans had enjoyed about it. For that, he apologized and said that the original game is coming back. The original build, before it had gone any changes, will be coming to test servers.
Just so you know, I didn't get a chance to say this earlier because you kept going, but mea culpa is just acknowledging the fact that you fucked up. It's acknowledging your error.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
He apologized that the original game's come back to test servers for PC players to remain there and playable for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, the team will be making the current version that's on regular servers and modifying it to imitate the original build and using that as its platform to build upon. Version will be made free to play once the update comes to invite back lapsed players and grow the audience. Fans had expressed dissatisfaction since the studio moved on from the first game very quickly and then launched the second without an early access version first. So, even in the roughness that was The Calling 2, it is really cool to see Zaviant acknowledging that they fucked up, issuing refunds, making the original game come back, bringing it back to what the fans liked, actually listening to what people are saying, and going full frontal effort on trying to resuscitate the Calling franchise and stuff like that. So it's nice to see
Disney, Ghostbusters, take a hint. They're not blaming the fans for their failure. Did you notice that? Did you pay attention? I'm glad we had this talk.
Yeah, but The Calling 2 failed horrendously. It was pretty much a copy of PUBG. No one wanted it. Literally no one wanted it. And it came out. So again, it had maybe 100 players at peak. I don't even think that much on the first day. And then within 24 or 48 hours, dropped down to 0 players. It failed harder than, what was that game by the dude that created Gears of War? Fuck. It was like an Overwatch clone, kind of. More closer to a Quake clone, actually. What was it called?
No idea.
Lawbreakers. You know how horrendously bad Lawbreakers did? It took a month or two to still hit like 0 people playing. This game literally failed within a day or two. Dropped down to 0 people playing. So that's quite a fuck up indeed. But it's good that they have acknowledged it. They're working on trying to regain the trust of their fans and saying, hey, we're listening to you guys. Please don't burn us at the stake. So it's quite interesting. Moving forward, we have a few other things. So WoW has made a welcome change to how subscriptions work. Get access to World of Warcraft and all 6 expansions to date simply by subscribing. This is Kevin Knezovic of GameSpot. World of Warcraft 7th expansion, Battle for Azeroth, is only a few weeks away, in addition to rolling out a big pre-patch that implements new features and sets the stage for the upcoming expansion. Blizzard has now lowered the barrier to entry for players interested in jumping into the long-running MMO. Blizzard has announced that World of Warcraft and all of its current 6 expansions are now included in the game's monthly subscription fee. Previously, players had to at least purchase the base game and additionally subscribe in order to play, but now they'll get access to all the game's content through the 2016 Legion expansion simply by paying WoW's $15 per month subscription. For players who have yet to take the plunge or have since fallen out of WoW but are interested in its upcoming expansion, this is a good opportunity to catch up on the game before Battle for Azeroth arrives. However, for those who'd like to play the upcoming expansion, you still need to purchase it when it releases. Standard edition of Battle for Azeroth costs $50, while the digital deluxe edition runs for $70. It includes 2 mounts, a pet, a WoW-themed, and other WoW-themed content for other Blizzard games such as Overwatch, Hearthstone, and Heroes of the Storm. Battle for Azeroth launches next month on August 14th and adds a bunch of shit. If you're following the game, you know exactly what's going on. But that's interesting. It's nice that they're lowering the barrier to entry, because I know that, I think it was Warlords of Draenor, a lot of people did not like, and they lost a lot of people there. Legion, I heard had a decent positive reception from people, and people liked Legion, so it brought some people back, but they lost a lot of players. Although it's still one of the biggest MMOs out there, so they're trying to kind of recuperate that. See if now it also makes it easier for your friends to get into it, because they don't have to drop $35 to play the game. It's only $15, and you get everything, which is a nice change. So definitely cool stuff. And WoW pretty much runs on a baked potato, so that's always a nice thing. That's one of the biggest points of the game, is that practically anyone can play it. Keeping in tune with MMOs, Final Fantasy XIV has a crossover with Monster Hunter World. The Rathalos from Monster Hunter World has made an appearance in Final Fantasy XIV. Some sweet loot details if you can down a dragon. This is by Steve Watts of GameSpot. Monster Hunter World is crossing over into the realm of Final Fantasy XIV and vice versa, with 2 big iconic monster fights. Final Fantasy players can take on a Rathalos and earn themselves armor and a mount, while Monster Hunter players can take on the Behemoth. So it is...
And the Cactuar. They're also adding the Cactuar.
Oh, that's dope as fuck. A new trailer showcases the Rathalos fight against 4 players. Beating the Rathalos appears to grant you some Rathalos armor, distinct from the Monster Hunter armor set, as well as a Rathalos mount. You can start taking on the encounter at the Azim Steppe on August 7th. The crossover makes sense, given that both Japanese RPGs are known for their massive beast-boss encounters and even a similar visual style. The Behemoth encounter in Monster Hunter seems right up its alley as well, and is sure to reward raiders with some Behemoth armor. Monster Hunter has been a smash success for Capcom, thanks to a buzz that has been building over the course of the series that seems to have come to a head this year. Yeah, it was one of the most commercially successful launches for Monster Hunter. I think even all of Capcom's games. I think it made the most money the quickest out of all of Capcom's game launches, which is fucking insane. I think it sold within a month, it sold 2 million units, something along those lines. It was pretty beastly. It was a fantastic game, though. I loved the fuck out of that game. It's also coming to PC soon. In August, early August, within the first 2 weeks of August, is coming to PC. So if you've been holding out to try and get the ultimate experience, as we say here at the Thought Patrol podcast, PC Master Race, you can do that.
Eat a dick.
It is coming soon. You don't want to play the game in 30 FPS? You could play it with higher graphics and, the things that you do. So, got one more article before we move on to our main topic. This one's interesting. So, Destiny 2 has decided to replace Cade 6's actor Nathan Fillion for the Forsaken DLC.
No, I'm definitely not coming back.
This is Eddie Mackey.
I wasn't coming back, but no, I'm absolutely never giving Bungie any more money.
This is from Eddie Mackey of GameSpot. One of the funniest, most lighthearted characters in the Destiny universe, Cade 6 has been up until this point voiced by veteran TV and video game actor Nathan Fillion, but he is not coming back to voice Cade 6 in Destiny 2 Forsaken, which could be the character's final appearance in the Destiny series. Fillion told Kotaku via IGN that he was not able to voice Cade 6 in Destiny 2 Forsaken, presumably due to scheduling conflicts. He is a busy person. He's also confirmed that he did not voice Cade 6 in Forsaken's E3 trailer. Nolan North, who voices Nathan Drake in the Uncharted series among so many other roles, stepped in for Fillion to voice Cade 6 in Forsaken. This is not the first time North has come to voice a Destiny character after the original actor stepped aside. North was hired by Bungie to voice the Ghost after Peter Dinklage bowed out. Also reportedly
He was bowed out? He was fired.
Also
I like Dinklebot.
They said This article says reportedly due to scheduling conflicts, but we could look it up in a second. All
right,
we'll look it up in a second.
They let him go.
Bungie told Games Radar that Cade 6 is absolutely 100% dead in the events of Forsaken. So this means Fillion missed out on playing the character for his final appearance. Maybe. This is Nathan Fillion talking. How do I feel about Cade 6? I absolutely love him. How do I feel about the character dying? I don't personally believe it because he's a Guardian, Fillion said. He should be able to come back. I mean, that's their whole thing, is that they come back, right? The whole thing is the resurrection. Fillion is apparently done with Destiny. He's still working on video game related projects. He plays Nathan Drake in a wonderful Uncharted film that you can watch on YouTube. It was awesome, awesome. Makes me want a movie so much more now. Destiny 2 Forsaken DLC kicks off with the death of Cade 6, leading the Guardians back to the reef to fend off the latest threat. DLC will introduce a new game mode, a hybrid of PvP and PvE, and the expansion will launch September 4th. Let's look at, let me see this real quick. This is August 6th of 2015. Why Destiny dev has dropped Peter Dinklage for Nolan North. One of the biggest surprises about the new Destiny expansion, The Taken King, we're in the way back machine here, people, is that developer Bungie has hired voice actor Nolan North to be the new voice of the in-game Ghost companion. North, who is a prolific video game actor known for titles like Uncharted and Assassin's Creed, hasn't been brought on for just the expansion either. He has re-recorded every line of dialogue in the entire game, completely replacing Game of Thrones actor Peter Dinklage, who was the original voice for Ghost. Dinklage's voice acting in the original game was widely criticized by fans, even after Bungie dropped his most infamous line from the game's beta test. In an interview with GameSpot, awesome. Destiny's lead concept artist, Jesse Van Dyke, Dick? I don't know, spoke about why Bungie decided to make such a significant change to the game. According to Van Dyke, I'm going to say Dyke, Bungie wanted to rework the entire game to make it more clear and guide players more. The team calls this process the questification of Destiny, and it involves an overhaul of the quests and bounty systems in the game. So there you go. That was one of the reasons.
I know why they said they fired him, but the people, there wasn't some sort of huge outcry against Dinkle. They gave Dinklage a weird set of instructions. They really didn't tell him much when they told him the voice Ghost, so he kind of came up with his own idea that when it first meets the player, it doesn't really have an understanding or a deep understanding of personality, humor, compassion. Like, it's learning its humanity as it gets to know the Guardian. And over time, he opens up more and more, which is why by the end of the vanilla content, Ghost is much more expressive than in the beginning. But they didn't tell Dinklage shit when they brought him in. They're just like, this is what it is, go do your thing. And so he kind of had to make it up. And then they're like, oh, we wanted it to be like this. And he's like, well, you didn't fucking tell me anything. So what do you, and when they didn't bring him back for the rest of the stuff, he was the last one to find out. Like, he found out he had lost the job by hearing of Nolan North's engagement. So,
they're engaged?
Once again, fuck Destiny.
All right.
No, they're Destiny.
That was the news for the week. So, we have a main topic this week that is different. I mean, not too different. We've done stuff like this before here. But there's going to be reasons. We're going to be redacting some of the information for reasons that we will let you kind of know. I could have Shawn delve into it real quick. But I'm going to read this article real quick. So we have Saudi Arabia has banned 47 video games. This is by Rania Tassiro of VGR.com. Saudi Arabia chose to ban a lot of video games because of the tragic deaths of 2 children. We have seen Saints Row 4 getting banned in the past in Australia, as well as Saints Row the Third in the United Arab Emirates. Unfortunately, Saints Row 4 is banned from Saudi Arabia as well. A 13-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy committed suicide after... Oh man, how am I going to do this? After playing a social media game. We're not going to say the game. We don't want anyone... the kind of thing where you don't show the killer's face on TV because we don't want to give notoriety to something this shitty. That's the idea that we're trying to go here. It is a social media game challenge. I'm not telling you what it is, but it involves a series of tasks. And the Saudian government has decided to ban 47 video games due to this tragic event. They claim that these games have violated rules and regulations, although they did not state which rules and regulations they were referring to. Fortunately, Saints Row 4 did not manage to avoid another ban. Knowing its sexual and violent content, we can assume it was an unavoidable situation. However, without knowing the specific reason it got banned, we can only make assumptions. I'm going to rattle off the games that got banned. Real quick, we have Agents of Mayhem, Assassin's Creed 2, Attack on Titan 2, Bayonetta 2, Clash of the Titans, Dante's Inferno, Dead Rising 3, Deadpool, Deception 4, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Devil's Third, DMC Definitive Edition, Dragon Age Inquisition, Dragon's Dogma, Draw to Death, Final Fantasy Dissidia, Fist of the North Star, God of War 1, 2, and 3, Grand Theft Auto 5, Heavy Rain, Hitman Absolution, Life is Strange, Mafia 2 and 3, Metro Redux, Okami, One Piece Burning Blood, Past Cure, Prison Architect, Resident Evil 5 and 6, Saints Row 4, Splatterhouse, Street Fighter 5, as well as Street Fighter 30th Anniversary, The Order 1886, The Saboteur, The Witcher 3, The Nonary Game, Thief, Vampire, Watch Dogs, Wolfenstein 2, Wolfenstein The New Order, and Yokai Watch. So an interesting list of things that apparently violated rules that they do not want to tell us. And fuck. Shawn, you presented it more eloquently when we talked about this earlier. So I'm trying to think of how to redact this without completely fucking up the name and shit, because I don't want people going out and looking this stuff up.
You've already explained it was a social media challenge thing, and ultimately it ended up the last ending challenge things were very harmful. It was a lot like that stupid movie that came out last year where there was an app and you would get dared to do things through the app and successfully more dangerous until there was only one person left and they win the prize. Only there was no prize. It was just that whole like fucking social media attention thing. Yeah. I mean, that's basically the gist of it. People have been getting high over the past, 5, 10, 15 years. At first, just sort of just doing meme things, planking on shit. And, then one guy planks and falls off a fucking balcony.
When the internet was naive.
But now you've got shit like people eating toxic chemicals or choking to death, getting water poisoning and dying from water toxicity or something. Like all these additional stunts and dares that are meant to gain attention and a couple of extra likes, and it's harmful and it's toxic and it's killing people. So with this thing, we're just not going to mention what it is, but it's essentially the same bit. It's people, first of all, I remember exactly how stupid I was as a teenager, and I did all kinds of dumb shit for attention, and now we're in a little bit of a different world where you can get attention at the touch of a button, and you can get whatever you want at the touch of a button. And whereas I don't necessarily see that as a negative thing, I do think that with the instant gratification that comes with having access to things, we have to tackle problem topics a little bit differently than we used to. As a society, we have to talk more and we have to communicate more.
Yeah,
when you're dealing with something this dangerous and this, don't get me wrong, it's the law, it's Darwin at work, because if anybody does this and kills themselves, they're extraordinarily stupid. But that doesn't mean that their family should have to go through that. These are dumb kids, and given a couple more years and a little bit less stupidity, they might not do something like that. So we're not going to mention what it is. We are going to say that if you find a series of challenges online that are any more or less, that are any more threatening than dumping ice water on yourself or putting an extra teaspoon of sugar in your coffee, it's probably best not to fucking do it. But we're not going to glorify something that attributed to two kids killing themselves, even if they were stupid.
An interesting thing is this thing that we are speaking of, it is a social media game. So along the lines of the thing where kids would choke each other until they passed out to get like that high of, it was like, I remember it was something like getting the high of like the final moments as like the asphyxiation hits your brain. You get like a momentary high. So people are doing it. Hey, it's a high. I'm gonna go sniff paint or eat glue or just stupid shit to get that feeling of that high. It's something along those lines, and a lot of, again, they range from, again, innocent beginnings to like stuff like the ice bucket challenge, which was a fundraiser for ALS, I think it was. I think that's what it was. And it was to raise awareness. That was the most part of it. Usually people that did it ended up donating money on top of that, although not everyone did it. But then things, again, we had recently the Tide Pod Challenge. Kids actually ingesting chemicals to the point where stores were actually putting these fucking things in lockboxes. Like straight up. Like Walmarts were putting these things in fucking lockboxes because kids were coming in and stealing Tide Pods to eat at home because they look tasty. Jesus. Again, as Shawn stated earlier, we could easily throw it up as a Darwinism at work. The survival of the fittest, but I don't think stupidity deserves death in the first part, even if it directly leads to that death. But this event is something along those lines, a series of challenges that are quite harmful to the person participating in them. And it has led to the death of a 13-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy in Saudi Arabia. Right? It was Saudi Arabia? Yes, it's Saudi Arabia. Now, one thing that's interesting is I'm assuming it's because of the age demographic, because when we researched this thing at hand that we're speaking of, that we are redacting, it has nothing to do. There's nothing stating that it has anything to do with video games. It is mostly directly related to social media. In this case, it might have involved video games. But even in the article that we just read, there's nothing directly relating to video games. So why, again, have video games received the blame here? I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that they look at the age and the community behind this might be involved in video games or things along those lines. It might be possible that this game involved video games. We don't even know. And that was from after researching what it is in general. We're not entirely sure. There's not a lot of information on it, especially since it's coming from another country. You might not get every specific detail because even sometimes their news don't fucking talk about it in that detail. So we've seen 47 games banned from a country. Even games like, if you listen to the list that I read, I can understand some of these games, like for sexual or violent nature, but you have things like fucking Okami, which is about a wolf. Now, that might be something like I know Shawn had mentioned, not on the podcast, but we were talking about it earlier, something along the lines of a religious aspect to it, because the fact that it's talking about Japanese deities that might not be allowed in Saudi Arabia, so that's a possibility. Or One Piece Burning Blood, which is anime pirates. Watch Dogs, which is just a dude with a phone hacking things and walking around a city in the States.
Street crime. You never know with the Arabic countries, man. Like Pokemon was heretical, so they fucking kicked it out because it's summoning demons, according to some Islamic faiths. And it's not so much the Islamic people themselves, but the zealots that are in charge of their society that are locking shit out. They're deciding what people can and can't watch, can and can't play. Muslims are smart enough to figure out what's toxic for themselves and what isn't, just like anybody else, Christian or atheist or otherwise. But over there, you've got a government that chooses for you in a lot of ways. So it's anything that involves another kind of spirituality, that involves questioning the government, that involves taking a stand, any of that kind of shit gets nixed right off the bat. It's been that way for a long time. It was happening back during the days of the black and, or I should say green and white Game Boy, the old brick. They were still fucking stopping shit. So that kind of news, like that's to be expected.
Okay. So let's take what we have here and we're going to kind of break it down, kind of separate the video games from it for now, because again, I don't feel like they directly correlate to the problem here, really. As we've said before, we don't really think games directly lead you to being a violent person. You might express tendencies in like a competitive environment that makes you more, I wouldn't even say necessarily violent, but more like heated. I don't, they used a word for it that I felt fit it well. But I don't think if you sit there, although you shouldn't be having kids at a young age playing things like Grand Theft Auto, because your son should not be able to get a lap dance at the age of 8 virtually. But that, I think, falls down to the parents and actually fucking participating in your child's life. But we're going to remove the games here for a second and talk more about the social media aspect behind this, right? Shawn delved a little bit into it earlier, saying the fact that, especially in today's world, with the fact that although there are so many pros from being interconnected, like this podcast would not exist if the internet was not the way it was. I would not know of Shawn. I would not know of his existence. I would not have a lot of the friends that I do have now without the internet being as connected as it is. And I treat that as a blessing, although it has its cons as well with mob mentality and things like that, and the ease of access people have to stuff that could be harmful to their own health. One interesting thing or others. One interesting thing with the social media aspect here is Shawn was saying like the pursuit of attention, right? It exists in kids. Everyone wants to feel somewhat either involved with a group or know that they have people that they can have something in common with, and that's fine. But it also leads to things along the lines of, I don't want to say really cyberbullying, although in these cases it might be an act of cyberbullying. Peer pressure, definitely. I could see definitely, especially for kids that are 12 and 13, to go through these acts that ended in their own lives being taken from them, I guess, if it was peer pressure. These things are quite dangerous, as we can see. These things like the Tide Pod Challenge. Even although I don't know if there's any deaths from it, but even stupid things like the Cinnamon Challenge. You could easily you could fuck over yourself if you ingest too much cinnamon. You can easily die. I don't know if anyone ever did die, but that's dangerous shit. I know people were hospitalized for the Tide Pod Challenge. I don't know if there was ever a death involved in the Tide Pod Challenge. But I think with these things,
I don't think there was any deaths. They're made with a.
I know for sure that there was hospitalizations.
So that but there's something. There's a chemical they put in them, like Ipecac, where the moment it hits your fucking mouth, it causes a throw up puke response.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Which is why everyone immediately kicks it out when they put it in their mouth.
Yeah,
it's because it's got that shit in it, and it's got a regurgitant in it, so that if you do manage to swallow it, your body's going to instantly throw it back up anyway. But in the process, you're going to fucking burn your throat and poison your body and most likely die. So yeah, good news.
Yeah. So we were one of the things with this is that pursuit of feeling a connection with someone else, even if it is through social media, can be seen not only in these events, but through things like Instagram and Facebook, and seeing people where not only does the effect of pursuing like attention harm you, but the effect of just viewing social media has a detrimental, I believe, a detrimental effect on your psyche as a person, I think sometimes, if it gets to the stages of overuse, addiction, which I think you can be addicted to social media. Just like you can become addicted to video games and things like that. I think that a lot of it, and we talked about it when we talked about addiction and video gaming, a lot of it is understanding when enough is enough, that moderation, and taking that with like knowing when it's okay to put your phone down and interact around you or do something else, read a book, watch TV, or something along those lines that isn't necessarily interacting with people's best lives that they post online. Because I think that a lot of people can agree that when you see something on Instagram, you're not seeing, unless it's a person that's really attention hungry, for the most part, you're seeing someone's best life. You're seeing all the good things that happen to them, and usually none of the bad, because no one really gives a shit about that stuff. People want to see you Oh, I guess people do give a shit about that stuff. But people want to see you hanging out in the Grand Canyon or getting married or having a kid, and everyone posts those best things because that's what gets that attention, or the likes or the clicks, the hearts, whatever people seek when it comes to social media. And in this situation, these games that people play, on top of the fact that I think it's a lapse of better judgment, obviously, because these things are quite dangerous, a lot of it is an attempt to either try and capture a little bit of that internet fame, or try and capture that connection of knowing, hey, I'm a part of this community that has participated in this thing. With things like the ALS water bucket challenge, that was along those lines too. It started as a kind of it had a humble thing where you donate some money, and then eventually got to the point where people were doing it just to do it, and the original purpose behind it, intent behind it, fell to the wayside, and people were doing it just because it was popular. You'd get clicks. There are YouTube videos of people doing it, and you'd get that notoriety. And that's what people search for, that notoriety, that feeling of being either wanted or appreciated, special, that someone has seen what you did and in one way or another approved of it, either through a thumbs up or a heart, a repub, anything along those lines. It's like a very small, but a sense of that you're getting approval from someone, even if it may be a stranger. Someone somewhere in the world has approved of what you did and enjoyed it in one way or another. People search for that because a lot of times they can't either find it at home, or they can't find it in their daily life, or they don't get enough of it in their daily life. So they search these ulterior methods of acquiring that. And I think, again, we could see that everything has an extreme, because a lot of people have issues with moderation. I think this is one of these extremes, and it's sad to see. Again, we don't know the whole entire story. I've looked up in other places to see if we could find a few different articles or any other information. A lot of them pretty much say the same thing, that this ban ended up happening because of this. And I don't really see a direct correlation here between video games and this social media game, along the lines of the choking game or things like that, Tide Pod Challenge, other stupid shit like that. But it's sad to see that maybe they took this opportunity, they existed within that age range that they might be playing things like that, and it's like, hey, let's remove these, let's take this opportunity and remove these from our whatever stores, stuff like that. And some of these games, I don't really think, I mean, again, we don't really know entirely the reasonings behind all of these. I could see blatantly the sexual nature, like in Bayonetta, or the violent and sexual nature, such as in Dante's Inferno, which is a very violent and very sexual game, obviously going through hell.
Also mentions a lot of biblical shit.
Yeah, so that I could definitely see behind that. But it's just sad to see. We talked about before, a lot of the times, because these things are happening within the age range where this might be a hobby of those people, or they might be related in one way or another, that a lot of the times it's something easy to jump to instead of looking at the deeper problem. And we had a whole podcast speaking about that called Why, or it's like, fuck. It said Video Games and Scapegoat. I don't know the exact title, but you can find that if you go back. I think it was like between episode 30 and 40, or 40 and 50.
Link will be in the description, as always.
Yeah, I'll find it. I need to write that down so I remember. The thing. Sorry, I'm writing it down so I don't forget, dude. Because I'll forget. You fucking watch me forget. I might even still forget.
I'll remind you next week.
Yeah, I edit Monday night, so Monday night. Come Monday night, remind me. So that was kind of.
I was thinking like next Sunday, but we'll see.
I'd be way too late at that point. Fuck, dude.
That's the point.
Don't talk to me. I'm thinking. So
how's that feel?
Good, man. I gotta say, it feels good. So
feels refreshing.
There's not. as we've stayed the last like 3 fucking weeks, video games information just in general has been quite slow. Following up E3, as we move closer to fall, hopefully we'll see more things to speak about. But I thought that this article was interesting, and seeing kind of the response that people have to these social media games, and that feeling of, again, sharing that connection with someone else, even if it might be over the internet, of feeling just like in the circle, like, hey, I could say I've done that, even if it was dangerous. And that goes along the lines of even things outside of social media. You can see that, like, technically, although for the most part you're safe, skydiving can be seen by a lot of people as quite a dangerous thing. A lot of people do it.
Oh, I did that shit.
A lot of people do it to kick it off their bucket list. Say, I've done it. I've participated. And these people that are daredevils, we've done this, and I could say that I'm a part of that group. You could see that same type of mentality applying to these things, even if they might be.
No.
I'd say
I don't know
so.
if eating toxic poison would be on the same level as doing something that's daredevil and fun. There's nothing fun
No.
about pudding.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Not the daredevil thing. I'm talking about the feeling connected with a community that has done the same thing, like with the ALS, with the ALS,
connection.
yeah, with the ice bucket challenge. A lot of people did that. Didn't even talk about ALS or what they were doing it for, the reasoning behind the challenge, because the original intention behind the challenge was that people with ALS, I think they lost your nerves would go numb. That was like one of the first stages of it or something along those lines. And the ice bucket challenge, you'd get kind of the sensation of someone that dealt with ALS, and you could kind of feel that idea because your body is reacting to like really cold temperatures, and you get that numbness feeling, and that's the idea behind the original challenge. It eventually got to the point where people just said, yeah, I did the ice bucket challenge, but they didn't stick true to the original soul behind the beginning of it. They didn't talk about it. They didn't mention the reasoning behind the challenge or anything along those lines. And
I think it was like you either had to do that or donate $20 or something like that. Was the original challenge. Like,
yeah,
you either have to donate $20 or you have to put a video out there to help raise awareness.
Yeah.
And I did not have the $20 at the time, but I did the ice bucket challenge, and then I donated I think it was like $5 or $10 I could squeeze out like a week later.
I think I did, because I remember putting it on Facebook. I did both the challenge and I donated, I think it was like $30. It was like birthday money I had left over. Yeah. But it still went to something, and I remember putting it on Facebook because we did it. And I remember like actually researching it so I could say what it was about before we did it. So I might be wrong. I hope I'm not, because that means I didn't research very well, or I just don't remember it exactly. But like I
don't remember. I think I tagged, because you're supposed to tag somebody. I think I tagged my friend Will.
Yeah, and they have to do it.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I think I got tagged by my mom. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Like, I think I was like second year in high school. So that's 6 years ago. Quite the ways away. Maybe 5 years, actually. So I want you guys that have tuned in, that you've heard what we've kind of brought up here, let us know what you think about this, because we obviously only have so much that we can present from our experiences, from stuff that we've gone through. Have you had someone that did something along these lines that actually threatened their life or put them in some kind of health risk? Feel free to let us know either on Discord or the comment section below. And we'd like to hear from you. Shawn, do you have any, again, it was an interesting topic. I didn't really expect to dedicate like 45 minutes to it, because there's only so much we could speak about, only knowing so little. But you have any final words on this topic? Shawn?
Don't be stupid.
Yeah, I would agree.
You don't need the attention that badly. Not that we've got any fucking 10, 13, 15, 16-year-olds listening. And if so, you are not the ones that I want to send nudes, just as a heads up. I don't care how good you may look to other high schoolers. Do not send nudes. But no, I think it's, with the ease of information and how quickly it travels now, it's a lot easier to get something toxic to more people. So I think it makes it more difficult as a parent because, I mean, there's only so much common sense and wisdom you can instill in your kids, and you got to pray that the combination of what you're able to give them and what they do for themselves is strong enough to help them avoid the toxins and the danger shit out there. And inevitably, a bunch die. Again, Darwin attacks. It doesn't mean it's not tragic, doesn't mean it's not horrible. These are just the facts of life. But we have, and it's easier to access bad things as well as good things. And kids are not emotionally or mentally stable.
Uh-oh. Shawn?
Intellectually
Wait,
speaking,
Shawn.
but I can state 100% I wasn't maturity-wise. So
Shawn.
I did a bunch of stupid shit. What?
We lost you there for a second. What were you saying before you said emotionally stable and mature for you?
For me, I was way ahead of the curve. Like, I was way ahead of my peers in terms of my mental state, but my emotional state, my maturity, my intelligence was in one place. My maturity was in another place entirely. So it took some time for that playing field to level out. So people always thought and treated me like I was, in my 30s or 20s when I was in high school, but I still was a high school boy. I still suffered with depression. I suffered with self-image, self-confidence, self-esteem, constantly picturing every female I knew that was even moderately attractive naked. Like, shit like that was a fairly standard thing. So it doesn't matter how competent you think your kid is, because there's still always a risk that one of these things can sneak under their skin, and you don't want that to happen. So always talk, always communicate, let them know these things are out there. Tell them, like, hey, there's this thing out there, and then what's happening is people are doing this, and I want to talk to you about that. I realize that you're smart enough not to do this, but I want to talk to you about that just to see what your thoughts are on it. Because they're going to run into situations. They're going to lose friends in middle school. They're going to lose friends in high school. Kids are going to die. It can be car crashes. It could be illness. It could be disease. I've known 40-something people, 47, 48 people that I've cared about, friends and acquaintances, and that have passed away. And that was starting in middle school. 8th grade, I think, was the first time I noticed one of my friends had passed away. So, and not all of them passed away for some of them were ignoble reasons. They weren't good reasons. They were doing stupid shit on the interstate, or they got high and drove into a fucking lake, like shit that if you read about it, you would laugh until you realize that that's somebody that you knew, that you cared about. And these kids, these two idiots that fucking killed themselves through this stupid ass social thing, there are people that cared about them. So I think the most important part, the takeaway, is not that they're idiots that do anything the internet tells them to do, and not that some people can be extraordinarily stupid, or even that they're, the takeaway is that there's two kids that are dead that it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And I think that the more we talk about things and we talk through them, and I'm not talking snapping fingers and pointing fingers and slapping people around, but I mean talking openly and honestly about the way our society works now and those dangers that are out there, and just to be aware of them. I think maybe we can cut down a few of those numbers, but it's never going to erase the zero. So my thoughts are with their family.
Definitely.
And I hope, that's all I've got, really.
Definitely. I do agree 100% that communication is quite important. And another thing is instilling that skill, that ability, that comfortable, like being comfortable with communicating in a child is an important thing, because not only will they need that speaking to you, they'll need that for the rest of their life. When they eventually find someone that they like and want to marry, communication is important in marriage. Communication is important throughout school. Communication is important skill to do just in general, looking for a job, everything. Communication is such a valuable resource for a child to have, and practicing with that early, getting them comfortable with speaking to someone that they either look up to or that they might be afraid of for one reason or another. It will not only help the child, but help the adult understand the child better And it's definitely important. And again, a lot of it is reducing those numbers. Let's not have as many kids dying, especially this young. It's such a sad thing to see, especially for reasons this like inconsequential. Like there's no need for this to be a thing. There's no need for the Pod Challenge to be a thing. And it just pains me that these parents are having to bury their children because of things like this. So if you have kids out there, I know we have a few people that tune in that do have a child or a few children. Take the time to speak with them. Let them know that you are always available to talk. That's one of the best things you can do for them. And teach them about the dangers of social media, because there's some fucked up shit out there with the way we're so interconnected. It's a necessary evil to go with the benefits of being able to make friends without ever even meeting them in person. So, again, definitely.
Also, remember, if you're going to send nudes, 18 or older. Okay, guys?
Definitely.
18 or older.
Shawn really wants them nudes, but only if you're of legal age. So,
yeah. If not, mail it to me.
Oh my god.
I'll leave my address. No, I'm just kidding.
That was so creepy. That was so fucking creepy. Oh my god.
I was like, what would take this in the wrong direction? I'll do that. No. I remember there was a bunch of, like, I'm sure you had it in school too. I mean, you popped out in school a few years after I did, so you had a lot more ready access to information. Cell phones weren't a super prevalent thing until right after I got out of high school. I mean, some kids had them, but they were the rich kids. And I didn't get mine until like 2001 or 2003 or 4. It wasn't really a necessity until I got it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, this is awesome. But
excuse me.
There was like car surfing, which was exceptionally stupid. One kid in my high school died doing that. You know, there was like dumb shit like jumping over bonfires, but you'd have these little fucking dare fads that would pop up and disappear as quickly as they popped up, usually because somebody would get their nuts burned off. But now, with it being so widespread, that communication is going to be super important, because it's not like it's going to pop up in a neighborhood and die out in that same neighborhood. Now it pops up in a neighborhood, and it's, 2 continents away, you've got people doing it.
Yeah. So, again, a necessary evil of being so close to people that...
No. That's not a necessary evil. It's just it's inherent in the process, but it's not necessary.
I mean, I don't think it's avoidable, though. I don't know. That's a different
the more
topic.
communication, the more you're raising the odds of avoiding. But yeah, moving on.
Okay. So, again, if you guys have something you'd like to let us know about this topic in general, or just how we did talking about it, let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you guys, as always. And before we go, I want to have Shawn drop us an outro. What do you got for me, boo?
Hugs and kisses on all your pink parts.
What a good way to end an episode. And before we go, I shall leave you all with a thought. The average American butt is 14.9 inches long.